Hello and welcome to another episode of Rufus Eats Cheese. We have just one cheese today, but it is very special. Over the summer, we had some foreign students stay with us. One of our students, called Naroa, was from the Basque country. Perfect guest. So much so that when she returned home, she sent back this. This is a cheese from the Basque country. It is called Idiazabal, and it is made from unpasteurised sheep's milk. It's exclusive to the region. It has a protected designation of origin, which I believe was from 1987. My one obviously has been sent shrink wrapped, so it's been out of plastic for some time, but it is magnificent. The smell has been driving me mad. I've been waiting to make sure I had time to give it a proper introduction, and yeah, here it is. Idiazabal from the beautiful Basque country. Now, when I first opened it, I was thinking, well, it's probably been sweating up a little bit inside the plastic, but that's fine. There's no problem. We'll get it aired. So this has been out for probably 4 hours, just covered over and just in the air, getting a bit of fresh air to it. There's some lovely crystals forming on the top, which look absolutely wonderful. But I was a bit concerned, first of all, if I turn this round, there's some dark marks on it. And I was thinking, oh, I haven't seen cheeses with anything dark growing on them. I wonder if that's okay. So I did a bit more research, and it turns out that it is in fact wonderful that that's growing on there. The cheeses that are young and fresh look like this. They're yellow on the side. They have a slightly more golden tanned colour on the top. This comes from the part of the production process, which I'll explain in a minute. But as they're aged on racks, the ones that are particularly good as they're kept a bit longer, they start to get a black mould that grows all over them. So they actually look very dark and kind of charcoaly afterwards. So I'm thrilled that this actually has some of that growing on it. I can't wait to try the cheese. But first of all, a little bit more about this cheese. As I said, protected designation of origin. There are, I think, 3 or 4 villages that are allowed to make this cheese. It's made traditionally from the milk of one type of sheep, which I think is the Latxa sheep. I can't say it very well. There's one kind of sheep used for the milk for this cheese. Traditionally, as the young alpine pastures would start to grow in spring, full of alpine flowers and everything, you can just imagine how beautiful that must be. The shepherds would be nomadic, and they would drive the sheep further and further up the mountain, following the line of fresh young grass. They would then milk the sheep, make the cheese in huts in the mountains, and the cheeses would then be stored in the rafters to mature. Now in the rafters, obviously, there would be smoke from the fires that they lit to keep warm at night and to cook and things like that. So traditionally this cheese is dried in air, and then it is smoked as well. Nowadays it has to still be made in the same region, from the same sheep, from the milk of the same sheep. The smoking is obviously done in a smokehouse, but they're quite traditional looking buildings. They're generally sort of stone buildings that match the other older buildings in the area, and they tend to smoke with something like cherry or apple or beech These cheeses also, when they're made, pretty much like any other cheese, milk is curdled, the curd's then cut to sort of rice kind of size. When the producers are happy with the grade of it, with the feel of it, it's then, the whey is drained off and it's then warmed back up again. Once the cheeses are formed, they're quite often then put into a brine, and the brine sometimes also has perhaps some herbs in it as well. So it's quite a process. We watched several YouTube videos on how this cheese is made, and each one of them seemed to produce it in the same way but with slight differences, and I really liked that. I thought that was lovely. So one place they were cutting cubes of curd and they were then pushing the cubes of curd into forms. Another place was putting the forms into the curd and kind of cutting like a cookie cutter kind of thing to cut the curd to just the right size. Yet another place was cutting larger pieces and was then filling them from the top, and then when they were fully packed in was cutting the curd ready to fill the next one. So I quite like that. If you think there are only a few places this is made and there's such a variety, I'm sure that these tiny differences make a difference to the overall cheese. Our cheese has came here, so we have a special sticker with a hologram here. I can't read it, I'm afraid, but essentially it says Idiazabal, and it shows that it has been controlled. So this is a cheese produced under special controls. The production date was April 2017, April 17, and it is now October 2018. So this cheese is about 18 months old, which is kind of nice. So yeah, we've got some crystals forming on the top here as well. The cheese has dried a little. It's not quite air dry to touch, but it has been in the fridge fairly undisturbed for quite some time. So I think it's probably time to cut it. I could maybe do with an assistant to help with that. This is Louisa, my daughter. Do you like when Daddy has lots of really smelly cheeses and things?
Not really, but this one smells really nice.
It smells nice. That's
yeah.
Good. Okay. Do you remember me saying what kind of milk this cheese is made from? Is it hamster milk or badger milk?
Sheep's milk.
Sheep's milk. That was it. That was it. Right. I think we should cut it. I think that could be the first thing to do. Should we put it on the board?
Yeah. Let's put it on the board. Let's tidy all the knives away first.
Get that one safe. Right. If I lift it on there. Oh.
I'm not going to touch that cheese.
That is. Oh, it smells incredible.
Yeah, it smells.
Right. Now then, that's quite a large piece of cheese, isn't it?
So
Shall I cut it in half?
Yeah.
And then you can cut a smaller piece off that.
Yeah.
Alright, we are. Thank you.
Yeah. Tiny little. Smells nice though.
Let's try and cut down through here. It's quite hard actually.
Yeah.
It really
Kind
is.
of slippy. It looks like on the outside it's oily.
Yeah, it is. It does feel a little bit sort of greasy and oily. Right.
But on the inside it looks lovely.
Let's have a quick look at that.
It's lovely on the inside.
Look at that. Oh, wow.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it smells incredible. Can you smell it a little bit different?
On the inside?
Mm.
Can you turn it around? It's like, smell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it smells lovely. It smells really nice. For the first time, I'm going to help my daddy and I'm going to try a little bit of this cheese.
Right.
It's going
Let
to be
me try
lovely.
and cut a
It
piece.
might be lovely.
Just mark the centre there. try and cut a piece
Is that big?
like this. Or we can cut
Is
it
that
a
for
bit
me to
smaller.
try?
You don't have to eat all of it. I'm just
No.
going to cut a piece like that.
I'll try. I'll get the small knife for me to try.
Let's cut a little bit there. Now, I know you're not usually a fan of cheese. I'm going to have a somewhat larger piece.
Yeah, you love cheese.
I'm going to eat this piece.
Oh, just to let you know, if you like Dad's cheese channel, please subscribe and Dad loves cheese.
It's supposed to be a secret. You're not supposed to tell everyone that I love cheese. No one knows. It's a secret. Right, let's give this a try.
Yep. Give it a try.
The smell is incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. I totally agree. It smells lovely. Very strong, but really nice.
So if you've tried manchego, it has a slightly similar nose to it. There's kind of lactic-y kind of smells, but it doesn't smell in any way like what you might think of something like a cheddar or anything. It doesn't have anything in common with that. If anything, with the texture as well, if I just give it a little bend there. Yeah, so it kind of, it's quite firm and then it snaps.
It's quite hard as
It's a
well.
little bit, got a little bit of crumble to it.
Yeah.
In some ways the texture is a little bit like parmesan. You haven't tried parmesan, have you?
No,
I think.
never tried
Right.
parmesan.
Right.
It's lovely.
Okay, here we go. My first taste of Idiazabal, which was sent by Naroa as a
And
thank
the
you.
first time of me trying Idiazabal.
Here we go.
Lovely. Tried this much. Tastes lovely. Very nice. Smells, tastes kind of,
Wow.
it kind of tastes a bit,
What? How would you describe it?
I don't know how, but it tastes a bit like, I don't know really how, but once you finish it, it kind of tastes a tiny bit like a strawberry.
Okay, that's interesting.
Really nice cheese, isn't it?
Try another tiny bit. There's another tiny bit there you can nibble. I'm going to try another slightly larger bit.
Nice, isn't it? It's kind of melting in my hands.
So that lactic flavour doesn't arrive straight away.
Yeah.
There's a little gap and there's a nice nuttiness at the beginning. It's lovely and nutty and a little bit dry, but you can still feel, weirdly, you can still feel the...
Wetness.
Yeah, you can. You can feel
How
the
slippery
moisture.
it is as well.
You can feel the moisture in it, but the texture is a little more granular. In a similar way to a nice parmesan. You then get quite an intense lactic flavour. I need to try a bit more. Let's try a little more.
Yeah, I might try it a little
Go
more.
on. And afterwards,
Quite hard as well.
it's almost a little bit peppery. Can you feel it in your throat afterwards? A little bit sort of peppery in your throat.
Yeah.
Me too. Go on. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So nice. Really agree. I think you should do cheese channels. With different types of cheeses.
Well, that's what we're doing.
Well, we can grab some the cracker thingies.
Crackers, that's a good idea. Right, here we go.
Try.
Let's try. You want that on there. You can nibble the corner then.
I'm going to try it with this bit first.
Okay.
Got that bit afterwards.
I am going to try this again. Now, you probably heard me talk before about different cheeses and whether how the cheese sort of sits in your palate. So some cheeses are very pow straight away and you get a really strong flavour. Other cheeses, you get a succession of flavours and still more have a really strong aftertaste. Now this seems to fit in a little group that kind of encompasses all of those things. So first of all, there's a nuttiness, then you get a lactic flavour, then you get a kind of creaminess to it, and now it's almost like hot in the back of my throat.
Is it? It's not.
How is it for you?
I could just start feeling the pepperiness.
Mm-hmm.
When I started eating it tiny bit by bit, I didn't really feel it bit by bit, but it's really spicy. Kind of spicy pepperish on my neck. I even did a move like this. Really funny move.
Wow, the flavour then, boom.
Yeah.
It's quite strong, isn't it?
Boom, like.
But it's not boom straight away. You get a little gap, don't you?
Yeah.
And then it's boom.
Yeah, it's like, that's nice. And as soon as you swallow it, it's like, boom. Like, that's really spicy.
It's like all the bit you're tasting is much further back in your mouth, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really nice.
I have to say, it's not really like any other cheese I've tried.
Yeah. I agree.
This cheese has won a lot of awards. And the really, really prized ones, the excellent ones, like many of the other cheeses, if you remember me mentioning before about Gruyere and Comté, these cheeses are graded for being particularly good or a particularly good example of something, and then they're aged further because they're shown to be
Just say
have
that.
everything just right. Hang on a sec. But they have everything just right. I think this is one of the cheeses that goes for the highest price. I'll pop down in the description underneath the record price for selling some Idiazabal, but I think it's a crazy price, isn't it? It's a really mad price. So this is really rather beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
I am very pleased to see you nibbling a bit of cheese.
At first, when you try a little bit, you can't really feel it. But when you like try the second, third, fourth, until you get to the fifth, it's like, whoa, it's really. But when you try a bigger piece, like a piece like this, and you eat it at once, like the third time, then you'll be like, it's really strong, really peppery as well.
Try another piece on here.
It's really nice, isn't it? It's really lovely. But
it's very nice on a cracker, but I want to try them. There, you swallow, and then it's about, for me anyway, about 2 seconds afterwards, you get this boom.
yeah, bit by bit, if you try it, more and more, bigger bits, it gets more spicier and pepperier.
You know, even though we've got sheep, which we don't milk. They're not milking sheep.
Yeah, not milking sheep.
If I was a shepherd up in the mountains, moving my sheep around, making cheese, and then at the end of the summer, the autumn, I'm supposed to come back down the mountain, bring all my cheeses with me, with my sheep. I think I would just be bringing the sheep and there wouldn't be any cheese left. What do you think?
If I was a shepherd and I was doing cheeses, I would do the cheeses, and then after that, I would think for a minute, and then I would say, right, I'm gonna bring the sheep with me, take a big basket, and put all the cheeses in there. A massive basket, about this big.
Yeah.
Put all the cheeses in. And
Yeah.
and then I'd be leading the sheep back to where they belong, back to the farm.
I don't know if you can see the colour variation here. I'm wondering, in fact, if rather than cutting the cheese, although all the videos I've seen they have been cut, if I should do something more like the Parmigiano and kind of cleave the cheese. Let's give that a little try.
Yeah, how about you try that?
So we've got our...
Here's the black bit.
The middle about there. So I'm going to try and score through there.
Yep.
And through there. Go around one more time.
On this edge,
Got fingers out of the way. Yeah.
on one of the edges, it looks like it's a bit spiky when you cut it. Like on this edge, it looks a bit spiky. But it's actually not spiky. It just looks like it's spiky.
Try and see if I can...
Cut that.
We're not going to cut it, we're going to try and cleave it.
Cleave?
Yeah. We're going to go... Oh, yeah.
Yep. Oh.
Now.
Not very neat, but...
What? Not bad. What we should find is it now follows the kind of grain. Have a little sniff.
Yeah.
It smells different.
Nice. It smells really different.
A little bit different.
Whoopsies.
So if you look at these two cut surfaces here, we have the cleaved side and the cut side. So you'll see my my comments about it being in some way a little similar texturally to Parmesan. It's definitely broken along kind of fracture lines there. Now, one thing I forgot to show you guys. If we turn this over,
And you put it together.
put it together,
You can see the sign.
yes, we can indeed see the sign.
Or you mean the sticker?
So on there we have a little designation. So we have on there, gosh, I can't read that. We have on there code, which I'm pretty sure is the code for the specific dairy that made it. Quite often cheeses use a printing technology, and they actually print on an amino acid sheet. So what you're actually sort of printing on there is in fact amino acids. So I think that's quite clever. Also means it's edible, of course, and it's now part of the cheese that can't be separated or removed. So
It can only be cut off
it can.
with the rind.
Right, should we try and taste another little piece of this? One last taste.
Can I try with that?
Have to wash our hands afterwards. We're going to smell quite cheesy.
I don't mind if I'll smell cheesy.
Thank you.
I really want to try this over and over again. It's so nice. Can you pass me the small?
The tiny knife.
Yeah, that knife.
Very careful. Really sharp, all these.
Yeah. Cut it like a pizza. Nonsense. Don't really cut it like a pizza.
So, I think really, if you're anywhere near the Basque region, you must definitely make a detour, go and buy some of this cheese and eat it. It's magnificent. It has...
Yeah. I feel like I want to eat this every day.
It has all the best things I can imagine from a cheese. And on top of that, it has all the fineries of a sheep's cheese. And it also... It seems... I can imagine this being an excellent substitute, maybe for those with lactose issues. An excellent substitute for Parmesan to add to something. It's brilliant on its own. It's gorgeous with things as well. And yeah, I imagine it's pretty good to cook with. So we just want to say an enormous thank you to Naroa and her family for sending this magnificent cheese. We'll have to make a special journey over, won't we, and try some there where it's made. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be good. That'd be really good.
If we lived there, I'd be crazy and I would say, Daddy, 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 can we work up there? Can we work there? Can we work there? What would you say?
I wouldn't say anything. My mouth would be full of cheese all the time.
But what would you say when you finish your mouth full?
I'd probably just get some more. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and leave your comments below if you are from the Basque region and you have some comments to make about this magnificent cheese. Yes, please leave them below. I'd be really interested. I'm always looking to learn more about wonderful cheeses around the world. This is particularly beautiful. I'm in two minds because I really want to eat all of it as quickly as possible. At the same time, I can't imagine how I'm going to replace it very easily. I can't go and buy this at my local shop. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how long it lasts. So, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.